property, which can again be done very easily with the help of our tool, because the cameras which we have sent to your property, these are LiDAR and radar enabled cameras. So what this basically means is that they map out the entire room to the last accurate inch. And to access that, what you need to do here is that on the bottom left hand side, you see a scale or a ruler which has the term measurement mode mentioned on it. You can simply just click on it. When you click on it, you will see a plus button on the center of the screen. You need to click on that. And post which, what you will see that wherever I take my cursor, you see a magnified view on top of it is where you can take that dimension. So let's say if I want to take a dimension near this pillar. Let's say I come a little back because there's an arch. Right? Let's say over here. I click on this point and I release my hand. Later, I just move my mouse and place it wherever I want to. Let's say I want to place it here. Right? Once I click on that, automatically what I see is the clear ceiling height of the property, which in this case is 11 feet and 8 inches. Let me just, sorry. Yeah, sorry, my bad. That was 13 feet, 13.5 feet for that clear ceiling height. Right? Now, as you can see, what here is happening is that I've taken a skewed line or a diagonal line, which means that the dimension which I'm taking is not going to be accurate. So in this case, what you can do is you can just click on the line again, it gets highlighted in red, and just simply you can drag the line. So you can drag it till it's straight. And here, that is the, oh, my bad. Yeah, so that is the accurate length for this image space. Similarly, let's say if you want to take a dimension of the room, you can do that here as well. Simply again just click here, click on the point where you want to take a dimension from and click the drop point. So let's say you want to click the drop point as here. So you've got 23 feet across. So you don't need to carry fact sheets, you don't need to carry or call in maintenance teams to know the clear ceiling height of the dimensions of the space. When you're sitting with your client either virtually or physically, you can actually show them all of this very seamlessly. Right? What we also provide to you here is a gallery section which has the images of the property as well, of the event space as well. So this can further be used as a ready reference to show certain clients the images of the property. Here on the screen, what you also see is an Inquire Now button wherein a client can send you a request for a proposal. So let's say if they are planning any kind of event, let's say an award ceremony, they can put in a name for the award ceremony, they can choose the date for the award ceremony, total number of days for which the event is going to happen, total number of packs which they are expecting, and they can give you a brief about the event. And they can directly send this request to you, wherein this will come up in your dashboard and also on the registered email IDs of the users which are using the dashboard. Furthermore, you have details about the event space here. You have the contact numbers here. You have the activities as well as services available at the property. What you also have here is a section wherein you can see the rooms of the property as well. So let's say if I want to see the superior room, I simply just need to click on the View 360 model. And this will load in the superior room for me. And very simply, I can do the recce of the rooms as well. And the same measurement mode and everything is visible to me here. Right? Very simply, I can do that entire navigation. I can actually move out of this room here as well. Right? So all of this is possible for me to do. Coming back to your digital twin, another feature which you have in your digital twin here is the ability to see the entire 3D model of the property. So let's say if I load in the digital twin again, right? If I click on the View Dollhouse option which is available here, it gives me a complete 3D model of the property. And with the help of my left and right keys, I can rotate the model. With the help of my up and down keys, I can change the angle or the vertical angle of the model. If I also want to see a drop-dead center view of it, I can click on the View Floor Plan option, which gives me a drop-dead view. Now here, this model is completely interactive. So let's say wherever I want to go within this model, I can simply click on that space and it will take me there. So let's say if I want to go to the lobby section, I can simply walk into that section here as well. Right? So all of this is again possible. Another thing that we've done for you here is that we've given you the ability, in fact your clients the ability, to take a tour of the property on their own. So there are going to be scenarios wherein, let's say, a sales manager or an executive would not be there completely with the client, right? You would have sent a link to the client and the client wants to do a recce of the property on their own. So they can very simply come into the Wayfinder tool here on the top right. They can click on that and they can go to wherever they want to within the property. So let's say from the entrance, if let's say I want to go to Swarnamahal, for example, right? So the tool will automatically take me there. So completely hands-free, the navigation is happening on its own. And you can modulate the speed of this as well. So right now I'm at 2x. Let's say if I want to go to 1x, I can go to 1x as well. I can go as slow as 0.5x also. But for the sake of time, I'll just keep it at 2x. Right? So this is how they can reach various locations as well. Furthermore into this, what you have is your backend. Now this is going to be the main part for the training because the front end is pretty simple, it is pretty easy to navigate. The backend part is where you will be able to do the second, you can utilize the second part of our tool, which is the setup of mock events. So the challenge here is that, let's say I have zeroed down on your property to do the event. The next question which arises is how my event is going to look like in your property. Right? That is a common question that is going to get asked to you, for which most properties what they do is that they send images, they send videos of past events, they may share a 2D layout with the client, giving them the rough ideas of where the furniture or the elements can be set up. Right? But still, as per the client's customization, it becomes very difficult to showcase to them how their event is going to be. Right? Now here, what you can do is, the very first step that you need to do is when you come on to spalba.com, through the super admin email ID which I provided, which is there with Monica, if I'm not mistaken, you need to just log in here with Monica's email ID initially, first time. There's an activation link which is in the email that she will receive that she needs to activate, and she needs to put in the passwords or the credentials that has been provided to her. Once you log in, you will see the dashboard. This is how the dashboard is going to look. And any inquiry you see will also appear here. So let's say the name of the inquiry, the date of the inquiry, the property name, the number of days, setup days, number of people, the email ID of the inquirer, when this particular listing was and inquiry was created on. And you can also communicate with the client. So let's say if you want to send them a message, you can directly send them a message from the tool itself. Right? The very first step though, after logging into the dashboard, what needs to be done is to add your team members. And to add them, you will see this black section on the left hand side. You need to come here and you need to click on Manage Users. Once you click on Manage Users, what you need to next do is click on Add Users. Right? This will add the users to this dashboard's backend. Right? Over here, you need to fill in their details, name. Role which needs to be provided here is that of a venue admin for them to make changes to the property and also create the mock setups. They need to have a venue admin. Right? After filling in all these details, you can click on Submit. It will take you back to the Manage User section where you will see an option to activate this particular user. Once you click on Activate, will the credentials go out to that particular user. So this needs to be done. This step needs to be done. The next important step here is the Manage Properties section. This is where you will see your main property. Presently, I'm in my demo account as I do not have access to your account for privacy reasons. But what I've done is I've added Sabha as a event space in my demo account to showcase to you for the purpose of this training. Right? So when you see your property here, what you need to do is you need to come under Actions. You need to click this button and you need to click on View Venues. When you click on View Venues, you'll see a list of all of your venues there which are in the property. Right? So over here, you'll see them, their status is active. So let's say there's any renovation work going on, or if the particular event space is unavailable due to any reason, you can inactivate this, or you can send a request to us to deactivate that particular venue space. Again, let's say if I take the example of Sabha, what I can do here is, again, I can click on the action button, and here I need to go to the auto layout wizard. This is our AI tool, which is actually helping you in creating those mock setups, right? So the dimensions of the event space are already pre-filled into the system. You do not need to alter them. You can very simply just click on continue here. Now what the system does is that gives you two options, whether you want to generate a layout based on the number of packs in the event brief that you receive, or if you want to create your own layout based on the inputs that you provide to it, be it what kind of and size of stage do you want, what kind of furniture do you want, what kind of spacing between the various settings do you want, right? Basis of that, it will give you an output. Let's say here, I want to do a setup for 100 packs, right? Very simply, I can fill in that number here and click on continue. Now, basis this, what the system does next is that it creates all the permutations and combinations within which these 100 people can be seated. So if you want a cluster setup, or a theater setup, or a classroom setup, or a round table, or a cabaret setup, in fact, all of that is possible. So it will give you this information of number of packs based on the type of furniture, the type of stage or the inavailability of one, and the spacing with that, right? So let's say if I want to set up a cabaret with a small stage and very compact seating, right? I can actually accommodate 91 people here, right? I'll choose that option particularly, click on continue. What the system does next is that it creates a primary 2D layout for you to work on. Now, why a 2D layout? Because for us as sales people, it is much more easier to work on 2D than it is to work on 3D. This makes more sense to us because we've been working our entire lives on Excel and on PowerPoint, right? So here, very simply, what I can do is I can also further modify this layout. So let's say I click on the modify button. What I can do here now, I hope this is visible to everyone. Sweet. Hi, is this visible?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, sure. So what you can do here is that you can actually see all of the elements that are there in the model. If you click on any of the elements, you will also see the dimensions. So this particular small stage is 6.5 feet by 12 feet, right? What you can do here is individually you can delete elements as well. So let's say if you click on the cross button on the top of an element, you can actually delete that. Or if you want to select multiple elements together, you need to click the shift key on your keyboard, wherein this hand becomes a cursor. While pressing the shift key, you can just select these elements, and if you are savvy with your keyboard, you can just use your delete key. So similarly here, if I want to delete these pair of cabinet tables, I can do that. If I want to drag these elements, I can very simply select all of these together and I can move them. So if anyone in your team has ever used Canva, this is going to be a piece of cake for them. Alright. Similarly, let's say if I want to create copies, I can very simply do a Control C and a Control V and just drag those elements around. Right. Now you would also see there is a grid line which is here. So each box is a 1 by 1 foot box, which gives you an accurate representation of where or how much distance is there between certain elements. So let's say if I want to drag this to the place ahead, I can use that here as well. So giving me equal distance between all of these elements. Right? Furthermore, let's say if I want to remove the stage, I don't want a small stage, I want a larger stage. So I can very simply click on delete and I can remove that. On the left hand side, you see these sections which can be further expanded with various nomenclatures. So let's say if I want to add a stage, I can just expand the stage section, and all of these are to scale. So I can very simply just choose the stage I want. Let's say I want a large stage. I can choose that large stage here and I can place it on the wall. Right? Similarly, let's say if I want a bar counter, right? I can just search for a bar over here. I can just choose a bar model here. And I can also rotate these elements. So let's say if I want to change the orientation, I can very simply just click on the rotate button and drag it. And I can just place it here. I want a backdrop for that bar as well. I can just drop it here. I can rotate that as well. And I can place it here. right? I can do all of those. So now let's say I want a buffet table. I can add a buffet table here as well. So simply just drag and drop it here. Okay? It is possible for me to do all of those things. Right? Now furthermore, what I can do is once I'm happy with this, I need to just simply click on save and go back, which is on the top right hand side. What this does is that save the modification that you've done to the model and not the model per se. Now see, initially we started with 91 people, but after adding more elements, increasing the stage size, decreasing certain number of cabaret tables, the tax capacity has now gone down to 84. So this system also gives you a real-time information about the people that can be accommodated within that space, right? Based on the setup. Once you're happy with this, you need to just save this to my layouts. So what this does is that in your backend, this is going to save that particular 2D model. One thing which I forgot to mention here is, let's say if you have certain clients which are not very savvy with 3D, who want to still see a 2D purview or they understand 2D better, you can actually click on print preview and you can download this 2D layout as a PDF file and you can share that with your clients. Going back. So on the right top hand side, you see there is an option of going to My Layouts. This is your database of layouts where all of your 2D and 3D layouts exist. And as you can see, the one which is created right now is there on top. Now very simply, with a simple click in the action buttons, you can just convert this entire 2D model into a 3D model. And within 30 seconds, that conversion happens. So while sitting with your clients or on a virtual call with your clients, you can actually showcase to them how their entire event is going to look like in a 3D setup. You can click on OK here. Now you see the converted 3D model is there on the right hand side. So the left hand side is all for 2D layouts and the right hand side is for the 3D layouts. Again, click on the action button here and open in 3D editor if you want to make further changes and view what your model has come out to be.
Lovely.
So this is the setup that we created, wherein we have a large stage.
Techie says.
The cabaret, we call it the cabaret tables there, the buffet tables over here. And we're just waiting for the bar to load in here on the back. Right? Now let's say if your buffet table while in designing you see that it's going to interfere with, let's say, a plant which is there. You can actually click on this element and you can move that element. Right? You can move it forwards, backwards, upwards, downwards, wherever you want. Right? All of these minor adjustments can be made here. And that's our bar which is loaded in as well. Right? Now let's say your client says that I don't want to do the cabaret tables anymore, I want the round table cluster, and furthermore I don't want the white theme, I want to change the theme. That is also possible here. So what you can do here is, let's say, you can choose any element which is there on the right hand side, because the right hand side has all the elements that are there within this model, right? So you choose any one of the elements which you want to change. So let's say you want to change the cabaret tables, right? Click on the replace option. You can replace a single object or you can replace all of the similar objects. So let's say if I want to replace all of the cabaret tables, I'll select this option here and I'll just put in a banquet table. Let's say a banquet table which is let's say select this option, submit, confirm. Now within a second that entire cabaret setup is converted into a round table cluster. Right? Now what I also want to do is I want to reduce certain sizes, because as I can see this stage is a little bigger for this event space. Right? I want to decrease the height here. What I can do is I can either make this stage smaller in all proportions, or I can just, if I want to, I can reduce the height. Let's say what I do here is I'll just lock the aspect ratios and I will just reduce the height. Right? I can do that as well. Right? Or if I want to increase or decrease the width, I can do that here as well. Right? This all happens in ratio. Similarly, let's say if I want to make the buffet table longer, I can do that here as well. Let's say I want to increase its width. So very simply, as much as if I let's say make it double, this will be now a 12 feet by 2 feet tape. Okay, so I can just increase its width and I can increase square by one. Any doubts? Any questions still here?
When we do it, we come to know. When we do it, we come to know.
Team, any doubts?
ऐसे दिख रहा है.
I think we can go ahead. Not in the question.
Once you're happy with this, you have an option to save and go back on the top right hand side. Again, you just need to save that. Right, so any changes that you made here will be captured. And again, if you click on the action button, you have an option to share link. Once you click on the share link, it will give you a link which can again be very easily shared with your clients. So what they can do is when a client is going to put this link in their browser, they'll be able to view that 3D model and they will also be able to make a copy of it and modify it. So the idea is when you're sharing it with event planners, they can actually have the base work already done for them. Post which they can make modifications on that, right? And multiple modifications are possible. So if I come back on the main editor, if I open the editor, if you don't find the elements which are there, we've got actually more than 500 plus elements available here, which are standard factory equipment. Still, if you feel that certain elements which you require are not here, you can actually add more elements from a marketplace. So let's say if you want to do a car launch or a bike launch at your property, you can actually download the model of a bike and you can place it wherever you want to. For that, you just need to click on import from marketplace, search for the model that you're looking for. Once, let's say, I'll search for a plant. Right, whichever model you like, you can just save that model here. Right, once you save it, it is going to appear in your list of downloaded elements. Right. So if you see, I downloaded this plant here and I want to add it, I can simply just click and add it wherever I want. Right? But these models we vary are a little heavier as compared to the standard models that we provide. So they might take a little bit more time to load, making your model a little heavier. Right? And although our models are compatible on 3G and 4G speed, depending on the size of the model, the loading time will differ. Right? So you can add all of those elements. So even now, if you see this plant has not loaded in because it is a heavier model, but give it some time and it will load it. Right? Again, when you're happy with this, you can just save this. There's another thing that you can do here wherein you can publish your models. So when you click on publish models, what happens is basically that on your front end, you see this section here called virtual setups. Over here, that particular model will be visible to everyone on the front end as well. So the idea here is you can create your standard setups, be it a corporate setup, be it a social setup, and you can publish that so that clients who are coming onto the Spalva web page can very easily click on the virtual setups and see the options that are available there for them as well. Right? So all of that can be done. Okay? Coming back into the dashboard, the next portion of the training would also consist of how to manage your calendar. So you see this option of manage event calendar. What you can do is you can use this to actually block venues and manage your entire inquiries from the backend. So let's say for Sabha, okay, I'm not added Sabha here. Let's say for the ballroom on the 13th, there is an inquiry which is coming. I can select that. I can put in, let's say, guest inquiry. I can choose whether it is for a certain start time, and end time on a certain date, or if it is an all-day event, right? I can put in that inquiry as a tentative inquiry, a confirmed inquiry, or a cancelled inquiry. So let's say if I put in as a confirmed inquiry, click on submit. What now happens is that particular slot gets blocked for the ballroom, right? And what this will also do is that it will not make the ballroom blockable from the front end. So this is something that you need to be a little careful about. You may choose not to do this because I understand the fact that an inquiry would be coming in for a ballroom, let's say Sabha, but Sabha would not be available, and you would have tried to accommodate that client to another venue space, knowing that there's a similar, let's say Utsav is a similar venue space as Sabha, right? Maybe you can give them that option. So I understand the complexity there. So you may choose to manage your leads from here, or you may again just keep them all open, right? That also works. What you can also do here is that you can create virtual meetings with your clients through the dashboard as well. So this is our own virtual meeting that we're providing to you. So over here, if you see the option, there is a generate meeting link option. You can choose your property here. You can choose your date here. So let's say you want to do a virtual meeting with me, let's say on the 12th. You can choose a time, let's say 11:30. Click on OK. Duration, let's say 30 minutes, and the mark, let's say the RC 9. And click on submit. Once you do that, it's asking you for a confirmation, post which it will create a meeting for you, which is visible there on your dashboard. If you click on the join button here, this is going to be a meeting room which is branded in your colors with your logo, and it is having all the features of a modern day meeting room like a Google Meet or a Zoom, wherein you can share your screen, you can add an effect, you can isolate voice, you can turn off your cameras, microphones, speaker systems, all that you can actually do, right? And it is again a simple link that you need to share with your client over here. There's a share link available. There's no credentials that are required. Anyone who will have this meeting link can join. Sounds good? Just stop the screen recording. That is the major gist of the tool. Any doubts, any questions that I can answer for anyone?
IDs will be given by Monica.
Alright, I have no questions. What I would request from the team is that this tool requires a bit of familiarity to get the hang of it. So what I do recommend is that you go onto the Spalpa website, you go onto the links, you try taking measurements, you try navigating around the venue spaces, and more so, and more importantly, try fiddling around with the mock setups, because until unless you're not going to do that, you will not get the hang of it, and it is going to be difficult, right? So what I sincerely recommend is try it, come back with doubts, come back with questions, because it is going to be a tricky for the first week that you're going to be. But once you get a hang of it, it's going to be very easy and it's going to make your life very, very simple.
Ankit, hi, this is Kunal here this side.
Hi, Kunal.
Hi. So actually, I just wanted to know one thing, that whatever the presentation in terms of the property layouts, like the Sabha, so all this is, I think, downloaded from your end, right?
We sorted completely.
Right, sorted and everything.
Yeah.
So actually, I just wanted to understand that, like, we are basically from the wedding team. And normally what happens that we normally give presentation to our clients, not only for the venues, also for some decoration pictures now there.
Right.
Right. So, like how we can go about that? Like, let's say there is some international client, or there is some client who is, outside, like in the southern part of India or western part of India.
Right.
So it's like we will be showing them a venue, but let's say client asks us that, okay, how this particular venue looks after the decorative type of setup. So do you have that options in that you are showing some layout like cluster and all that? So we have that options also there.
So Kunal, that's the exact thing which I just showed you, the mock setup that is created. So the cabaret tables that I placed in Sabha, along with the stage, along with the plants and the buffet table and the bar, you can actually place all of those elements and showcase to your clients.
So that is the indoor setup. Like because we have some other setup. I think the show has been done for the outer venue also, like lawns,
There
amphitheaters.
is no only
So do
Baradari
we
is
have
pending,
any
you know.
options to do
Sherba
like the
Bhwani.
options available to do the setups over there to decorate it, the rainy setup and all that? These options are
Setups
there.
are possible in each and every venue spaces that we shot. So I'll just showcase this to you here.
If you can just you can show me this amphitheater, what the options we have, if you have that particular thing in
तो
this.
एलिमेंट्स सारे पुनः सेम रहेंगे, एलिमेंट्स में कुछ चेंज नहीं होगा। ये जो आप वेन्यूज देख रहे हैं ना, यहाँ पे सभा, बरदारी लॉन, उत्सव 1+2, उत्सव 1, 2, 3, 4, दरबार।
Let's say we go to the terrace. Terrace is the open venue.
राइट। सो टेरेस के अंदर भी आपके यहाँ पे सब जगह जो है एलिमेंट्स लग सकते हैं, इसमें कोई चैलेंज नहीं।
Okay, when we do the event, we put a stage over there with the flower
All that is possible. All that is possible.
Okay, so I think let us go to this site, and then once we become handy, and then after that we have any questions, so definitely we will give the update.
If you don't have questions, I will very clearly understand that you've not gone through it, because I am telling you this is going to be a little complicated in the need stage. Right, so I understand that fact, and I want you to come back to me with questions, doubts, queries, because I understand that there are going to be certain challenges that you're going to face, and I want to make it very easy for you to understand. So please come back with questions and doubts. But again, this all happens only when you start using it.
Right.
मैं आपको कितनी भी ट्रेनिंग दे दूं, until आप अपने हाथ से नहीं
आप नहीं करेंगे तब तक वो handy नहीं हो गया।
नहीं, बिल्कुल नहीं, बिल्कुल नहीं।
Sure, thank you.
Okay. Any other doubts, friends?
Can you unmute her? Hi, it's Rajiv here. Can you hear me?
Pramod sir, if you're saying something, you're not audible.
Pramod, you're not audible.
Silence. Hi, it's Rajiv here. I'm with Pramod.
Yes, Rajiv.
Do you have did a 3D image for our lawns and Shikar Bagh or not yet?
So there are certain parts of the property, because of unavailability or maybe some renovations which are also going on, they have not been shot. So that is scheduled, I believe, for a later date. As per my understanding from Pawan and Monica ma'am, I believe that is to happen probably either end of next month.
All right. Now,
so certain lawns, maybe the Shikar Bagh lawn is one of them.
Yeah,
is this the lawn which is right next to your swimming pool?
Yes, there are 3 lawns which are been pending, which is in front of the swimming pool and in our right hand side of the property, and there is a Shikar Bagh which has been developed couple of days ago after renovation. And also we would say to include the amphitheaters which are in between of the clusters, because there are certain events happens out there. Just to give an overlook, we don't do anything in there, but just to give an overlook of the property. Now let's come back to this website option. I just want to check that we can just log in with our ID and we can just scroll it, or do we require any particular ID from Monica to have it as authorized as admin?
So let me clarify that for you as well. To access the backend, what you need is for Monica ma'am to add you as a team member within the dashboard.
Okay.
Right? To access the front end, you do not need, you don't need Monica ma'am to add you from the backend. What you can do is just simply log in with your own email ID and you can actually view the entire virtual tour. What I would recommend is not logging in from just on the front end with your official email ID, because what that creates is a conflict. That there's a front end email ID and a back end email ID which is same, it will create a conflict. You will not be able to add the same person in the back end. But once you're added in the back end, you can access the entire website.
All right. So I will keep my official email ID to be added from Monica to do the other works, which also I think it will include our formatting of the table arrangements, which are supposed to be done through backend.
Absolutely.
And
That is the backend feature.
yes, and the front end we can just overlook the area, how it works, how the cursors are working and all, and how which function, which key is providing. So that's what we will able to do it right now. At least you have given us an idea. And once we are familiarized with that, then I will able to get the ID from Monica, and then we can do the internal feature.
Sounds great.
All right. Thank you.
I'll share this video recording of the session with you also, so that wherever you connect to certain problems, you can actually refer back to this.
Thank you. Yes, please. Nice to know.
Perfect. If there are any other last questions, I'm open to that. Otherwise, we can close for the day, and we can come back in the session. Pramodji, again, your voice is not audible.